Good morning to those online. Again, my name is Darna, and this is Prita, and it is a joy and privilege to be here with you. I'll start with a beautiful whispers, a beautiful poem by Master. My Guru, thou light of my life, thou comest to spread wisdom's glow over the path of my soul. Centuries of darkness dissolve before the shafts of thy luminous help. As a naughty baby, I cried for my mother divine, and she came to me as my Guru, Swami Sri Yukteswar. At that meeting, O my Guru, a spark flew from thee, and the faggots of my God-craving, gathered through incarnations, smoldered and blazed into bliss. All my questions have been answered with thy flaming golden touch. Eternal, ever-present satisfaction has come to me through thy glory. My Guru, thou voice of God, I found thee in response to my soul cries. Slumbers of sorrow are gone, and I am awake in bliss. If all the gods are displeased, yet thou art pleased, I am safe in the fortress of thy pleasure. And if all the gods protect me behind the parapets of their blessings, yet I receive not thy benedictions, I am an orphan, left to pine spiritually in the ruins of thy displeasure. O Guru, thou didst bring me out of the bottomless pit of darkness into the paradise of peace. Our souls met after years of waiting. They trembled with an omnipresent thrill. We met here because we had met before. Together we will fly to his shores, where we will smash our planes of finitude forever and vanish into infinite life. I bow to thee as the spoken voice of silent God. I bow to thee as the divine door which leads to the temple of salvation. I bow to thee, to thy master, Lahiri Mahashaya, harbinger of yoga in Benares, and I lay the flowers of my devotion at the feet of Babaji, our Supreme Master. Om. Amen. Well, it is great to be here. It's great to be back after we were away for a few days. And what a beautiful topic. Do we need a guru? Have you guys heard of the guru that went to the dentist and refused Novocaine? It's because he wanted to practice transcendental meditation. Well, I have a disclaimer on that. My daughter told me that joke. Do we need a guru? It's such a poignant question. Well, do we need a teacher of any kind? Do we need a father, mother, or any kind of guide? I mean, for a baby to be abandoned by his parents, definitely he needs the parents. But then we keep growing, 5 years old, 10 years old, wherever it may be, and we encounter many teachers along our life that we're following. And this, that there's one real tricky thing there, because it took me a long time to get rid of this magnetism of listening in a way blindly to my teachers. I remember that I used to think of anything that the teacher said in the classroom was like law to me, as a kid growing up. And it takes quite a while to actually begin to discern, that there is something to be looked at here. And that might be the process of maturation, right? And therein lies the trick. When we start to realize that these teachers are probably not as wise as once we might have thought. I remember when I used to think that my father was always right, until I realized that I was the one that was right. Yeah, I was 15. But no, seriously. Yeah, I used to see my father as just this incredible, strong, wise guy. He knew. And, for wherever I was at that time, that was right. But then the spirit of growth comes. And here I am, full height, not full weight yet, not yet. But all of a sudden, I start thinking that in society, literally taught us that I gotta, provide for myself. I have to be a man. I have to be a man's man. I can't be sitting there asking for help for everything and asking, well, don't you know that? Aren't you a man? Aren't you an adult? Aren't you grown up? You're supposed to know that. What are you doing? And all of a sudden, I started to change. I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to know. And not only that, hormones, pride, all this, I feel strong. You have all that strength of youth and you feel that you can do anything. And then all of a sudden, your dad starts getting older, other people start getting older, and you're starting to climb up to that place that they once held. And we feel that we are supposed to be right and we are supposed to know. And there was one of the trickiest things for me, to start to assume or presume that I was supposed to know. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting here trying to know everything. That was a recipe for disaster. Who is a guru? Who is, guru, gu, displacer, ru, darkness, the displacer of darkness. And we go, teacher, it's obvious. So here are the two cultures. But there's also Sat Guru, which is the true guru, the one true guru, as would be a divine teacher. Yesterday we were at the beautiful presentation of the dance recital from Kavita's daughter. It was amazing. And at the end, she paid respects to her teachers. And at one point, the word guru came out, and it got my attention. The teacher, the guru, the music guru that taught her. And it was very fun and interesting. But you see, in Indian culture, they see the guru as the guide, not so much as the teacher. So it can be used that way, but it can also, at the end, Sat Guru is the key here, because it's not just any guru, it's the guru that has traversed the road all the way to where we want to go. Or do we want to go there? And there's another question right there. Do we need a guru? And that question was asked to Swami. Do we all need a guru? And he said, no, unless you want to find God. And that is so right on. If we are still just trying to be in this life, because really, when again, back to that whole journey, when we start to learn, we go to school. Yes, we need teachers. Yes, we need guides. And we even need guides in our marriage and for our kids. And we get through all of these things, people that guide us and that help us navigate through life. But through all of that, incarnation after incarnation, we leave this body, we're born again. We leave this body, we're born again. There is this thirst that is born. There's something missing. I tried that. Even within this one incarnation, as you get, to be a certain age, then, you've tried things more than once, plenty of times. And they bring the exact same thing. They bring some good and some bad. The back and forth, the eternal pendulum of the duality that we live in. Nothing brings ultimate bliss. Everything leaves us with a little bit of thirst. And that very thirst is what takes us to the Satguru, the guru that we are searching for. we are searching for that one guru that's going to take us there. We begin to wonder, there has to be more. Why do I have to keep repeating this cycle and cycle and cycle that I graduated and it felt great, and then the next day, back to the grind. I imagine the quinceañera maybe, the marriage, I went through that, and it's wonderful when you have, for example, a beautiful friend to share it. Yes, it's wonderful, but even in there, the ups and downs will happen. I was talking with my daughter last night. Well, it was actually quite a fun day because we just came back, and then Friday was an attack at work, and then Saturday, it's usually a day that we have like half a day to prepare for this and that and this. And I started the day, my dad the day before is like, are you gonna go have coffee with me in the morning? And he calls me at like 5 in the morning, it's like, let's go. It's like, okay. And yeah, he wanted to talk about something. And then the day just kept on going. Like, it's almost like I had a full appointment for the whole day set. And then finally, we were at the dance recital, and I'm really enjoying it. And then it's my mom. She'd come into town a week ago Friday, and I had yet to see her. And I'm like, oh my God, and then I'm leaving again, or this or that. She's not gonna forgive me. So then after the dance, I go to the family, and somewhere around 9-something, 10 o'clock, we finally get home. And I'm like, Brita, help me out. Help me just write out some stuff. And so then my daughter had to stay behind a little bit, and I started giving her words of wisdom. Throughout the day, I was kind of praying, because at some point in the day, I had a little bit of a dynamic with both of them. And at some point I said, Master, I would like to have a conversation with my older daughter. I really hope the opportunity presents itself. Of course, he granted my desire at 10:30 at night. Just when I was trying to go upstairs, she's like, can I ask you something? And I was like, oh God. So yeah, sure enough, around 12 o'clock, I went up, and it was wonderful. It was a blessing. I wanted a conversation with my daughter. It was a total and absolute blessing. But yes, once more, you ask and you shall receive. Just not at the time when you want it. It will be exactly in the perfect time as God knows it. But it is all just a beautiful life of trying and trying again to do just what? To ask the Guru, to align to that Guru, to align to the higher energy. And sometimes we just have these full days, and I am sitting here trying to prepare. I'm like, what am I going to say? I'm going to get up there and just go on mute. And then I say, I think at this point, I'm just going to meditate. And I was just meditating last night, this morning, earlier on. I was like, I think I'm going to ask God to flow through me. Well, I think I'm going to get there one of these days, and there will be no paper in front of me. But in the meantime, I'm just praying. What am I praying for? And that is the thing. You see, we have a guru. Well, many of us are disciples of this great guru. Everyone has their own guru, their God-appointed guide. Master said that when the soul detaches or leaves God as a spark of the divine, and we're sent out to live our lives, our destiny is to come back to God. Each and every one of us will make it back. And there's also a God-appointed guru that is assigned to each and every one of us. And just like that beautiful poem says, I found my guru. And Master says it with so much feeling. Every time I read that, it just touches me just as much as the boatman touches me. I will come back 1,000,000 times if needed, if there's one soul left behind. I mean, it just touches my heart to know that there is this Master that is out there for us. He is my God-appointed guru, and he has not only the desire to help me, but infinite patience. How many times have we turned our backs on them? And they're there for us, and they're just waiting for us to ask and to attune ourselves to them. Now, therein lies the question, because once again, here we go. There are many teachers, and there perhaps might be many gurus throughout our lives, teachers that we respect, teachers that we want to listen to. But deep in our hearts, we know there's only one guru that will take us there. It took me a long time, but I did find them. And I still, to this day, I remember the day when I basically asked for discipleship, which I didn't really, but I was at the village, and I think I told this story before, and I was just coming out of an incredible meditation whereby it was just really beautiful. God gave me a gift of light. And I stumbled out of the meditation room, and I just, our dear friend Ananda was there. But and eventually we got to talk, and I couldn't believe the first words that came out of my mouth. That was, I've lived by God, I've tried to live by God my whole life. But I thought I needed no guide. But I am now ready to be guided. And those were the words that came out of my mouth. And we cried together. And to this day, it just touches me. Every time I think of, do I need a guru? I'm like, boy, do I need a guru? God, where was I? And it is, the thing about it is that I got lost in my own mind. I got lost trying to live the perfect life. You see, as I started, I was always like this kid that was very intuitive, I guess, because I was guided always by my heart. I knew what I wanted right here in my heart. And then at some point, I got married, and I tried to be super smart and live the best life, be the best husband, have the best family, the best home, the best job, the best provider, da-da-da-da-da. And I got in my mind. And it all went in that very specific direction. And the world chewed me up and threw me off, and discarded me. And then I was all hurt and crying and all this. And then God picked me up again, and I started looking for God again. I started looking for truth, started looking for that which was missing. Because the reason why it spot me out is because I had been so upset at God. I tried everything that they say that was going to make me happy. Society, church, everything that I tried. Be a good man, have a good family, try this, try that. And none of it worked. At the end, I was just still in the same spot, still looking. And at that point, I was so upset that I just made it even worse. I went self-distracted. But when I came back, Master brought me back, and he picked me up, and little by little, I started understanding. That's when I went to Ananda. But in the meantime, here I was trying to have the perfect life according to society, according to my head, but not according to God, not according to my guru. I stopped listening to my heart, and I went into my head, and all I was doing was what I thought was best. Well, that's very much the ego. To try to get to God through my mind is not going to work. It's only going to work if I am able to align, to attune with that higher energy who is the guru. What else is the guru if not that unraveling energy inside ourselves that, as we say in purification, open your heart to me and I will enter and take charge of your life, which is the same thing that Sri Yukteswar, Yogananda's master, told him. When they first met, Sri Yukteswar sent him home. He said, "You'll be back in 1 month." And master was not happy, and he reluctantly left. And all these things happened. Sure enough, he was back. And when he was back, he said to him, "Oh, my master, I'm ready. I am here. I am ready to follow." And he said, I am ready to transfer the burden. And Sri Yukteswar said, I accept the burden. I accept the responsibility of guiding your life. Now, we could think right here, well, they had a guru in the living flesh. Yes, the Swami had your master, Yogananda. Yogananda had Sri Yukteswar. How convenient, how wonderful. What about us? and then I go on reading at some point, and I read that Swami said, well, that is just your grace. That the Guru is not in the flesh. It's not in the body anymore. And I had trouble with that from the beginning. I was like, wait, there's something that I can't quite reconcile with. But little by little, as I went deeper, I understood. It's because if I am not ready to see the divinity in this master, then what am I going to see? I'm going to see the form. I'm going to see the body. And I'm going to see it from the senses, therefore from the ego. The intention is to be able to attune to that divine energy, to that divine presence, to this master that was appointed to us by God. And so if we are able to attune to him, and that is here what it really means. Do we need a guru? Well, the answer might be, well, am I ready? Am I ready to ask a guru to guide me? Am I ready to let him in my heart? Or am I going to say, well, yeah, I'll accept your guidance here, but not here. Here, but not here. Or I accept the guidance fully, and not only that, I am ready to accept that what I need is to attune to that energy. And we're not attuning to this form. We're not attuning to a name. We're not attuning to a face. We're attuning to an energy, to a divine energy that was sent here to guide us. And if we are able to attune to that energy, then little by little, we're going to feel him. And we'll continue to feel him as we all already do. Because from the very beginning, if we tune into our heart, we can hear the guidance. But the more that we attune, the more that we tune off the senses, little by little, get the senses out and tune into the heart, we start to listen to the soul. And therein is our master. There is our master right there, just waiting to come in a little more, for us to open a little more, and for him to take over. Take over as what? That we are now puppets? No, that we are attuned to the highest form of wisdom, the highest wisdom that there is, that we are attuned to love. We are love, God is love, and when we clean off of everything that these self-definitions that we think we are, we will be living love only. Yoga is to unlearn life. To practice yoga is to unlearn everything we know and to find out our true nature, who we really are. And as we do that, we let Master into our hearts. We let that consciousness go into our hearts and guide our lives more and more and more. Yesterday, when I was in the morning, when I was talking to my girls, there was a little bit of a situation, and they both got a little tense. And I immediately saw an energy and felt an energy, and the energy was telling me, hey, there's a need for change here on your part. It wasn't about them, it was about me. What kind of energy am I creating here? Can I switch this? Can we change the dynamic of how we're working here? And to me, that's my guru. That voice, that energy that is showing me what I can do, a different way to operate. You know, Master tells a story of this renowned architect that became famous and rose to fame in this old town. But then in that very city, there was also a guy that was very petty, and he dedicated his lives to pretty much destroying everyone that he could. And so Master says that this other guy that was actually his friend started creating stories about him, and they started just bringing him down and bringing him down. And now people doubted him. And then at some point, as if that wasn't enough, he called them to do a job. And then he undermined the whole thing. He undermined the the construction, and at one point he pushed on a wall in front of many people, and the wall came down, and then everybody was like, oh, that's the worst architect in the world, and he just went down. Well, this person, being a high mind as he was, he took it and kept on going and kept on going and kept on going, until one day he himself went to see that guy. And Master says he went and said to him, I love you, brother. I am sorry if I did substandard work for you, even though he hadn't done anything. But he centered himself in humility, in the humility that is needed. You see, the only way that we can get out of our boxes is if we center in humility, the humility that we need a guide, in the humility that we need a guru, in the humility that allows us to understand, because there's no other attitude that will allow us to learn, to really learn. If I think that I already graduated, that I'm a father, that I'm old, that I'm this mature guy and I know everything, I'm supposed to learn everything, how do I learn anymore? So this guy, the architect, went to him. So there was this whole part of the story, but at the end, after repeated tries, he got to him and just told him how much he loved them. He says, I am sorry if I did your construction wrong. I'm sorry if I did anything wrong. And the guy just left. He took off and left. And eventually, days later, he came back and he said, I am sorry. I am the one that did this whole thing. It was me. And the story is just so beautiful, and the way Master puts it is just such a beautiful story of the power of love. How through love we can conquer anything. But as we are conquering anything through love, we're conquering everything through God, because that's God, that's Guru acting through us. And so back to the last point, humility. If we can center ourselves in humility, then do we need a guru? Can I become the best disciple? Yogananda was a great example, because all the way to the end, he was thinking of his guru. Kriyananda was the exact same thing. In fact, in one story, in one of the books that was written by someone else, one of the stories was that he came to give service, not at the village, and they had actually placed his picture on the altar. And he went and removed it. And they asked him, but why, sir? And he says, what we need right now are not more masters. What we need is an example of discipleship. And what happens when we center on discipleship? That means I am ready to attune to that wonderful energy that my guru represents, whoever our different gurus might be, or we might be all guru bhais, and therefore we have the same guru. But whoever our guru is, we are ready to attune to him again and again and again. That is an example of discipleship. We're ready to listen, but more importantly, we're ready to open our hearts and let him in, that he might work with us from where it comes, from the energy point. Swami, to close off, I have two more things to close. This is a beautiful quote by Swami. It says, a true guru's real teaching does not lie in his words, but in the vibration of his consciousness. So that means if we are able to attune to him, we're going to open our heart and feel his consciousness. And our consciousness will become one with that consciousness. But then there's another beautiful way that Master puts it as far as what the ego is, or the soul consciousness. And these are the words of Master. It says, the ego, or false consciousness of the soul, extends out to the subconscious, at the utmost to the semi-superconscious. It cannot go beyond that. Beyond that is the perception of the soul. The ego is conscious of the soul born in connection with the body. When the ego copies into its own consciousness, its own consciousness is called the soul. The soul, when it comes into the carnal house of the senses, it becomes intoxicated with sense perceptions. and takes its name as ego. But when it cognizes itself, it's called the soul. Om Guru.